This is our destination today. It's Avalanche Lake in Glacier National Park. Join us as we explore and discover all the gems on this hike into Avalanche Lake.
This is our first of hikes into 3 different lakes, all very beautiful, but all very different.
Welcome to Hidden Gems of Nature. We're at the Trailhead parking lot here at the Avalanche Trail at Glacier National Park. There's several parking lots around the beginning of this trail. There's a campground here.
The first portion of this hike into Avalanche Lake is a nature trail. It's a short loop hike. It's called Trail of the Cedars. So we'll actually do that loop hike first, and then we'll head up to Avalanche Lake.
You see the boardwalk behind me. This side of the trail, it's a little loop trail, kind of like a nature trail. It's a beautiful little trail. We're in the Trail of the Cedars. And so it's similar to the Redwood National Parks, although the trees are much, much, much smaller. Just beautiful. The undergrowth, the look, the terrain, everything's just beautiful.
This loop hike is shaped like an oval, and one side of the oval is all boardwalk. There's a number of little streams that flow through this section of the hike. They keep the ground pretty wet and marshy. In fact, here's one of the streams right here. As you can see, it's not much more than a trickle, but we'll follow it back to the spring that it comes out of against this cliff. Beautiful little section of the hike.
We're on the bridge on the little Cedar Loop Trail. It's a beautiful little bridge. This is the creek that flows down out of Avalanche Lake, and that's where we're headed, Avalanche Lake.
Now that we've completed the loop hike, we'll make our turn here and head up to Avalanche Lake. The beginning section of this hike is very heavily traveled because there's a small gorge up here, and we'll take a look at that gorge. It's beautiful. It's very picturesque. I also took a picture of the mouth of the gorge so you can see what it looks like as we look back up into the gorge. This is a 2-mile hike up to the tip of the lake, and the beginning section of the hike follows the creek, so it's a beautiful little hike alongside the creek. Once you get to the lake, you can actually hike another mile alongside of the lake to get to the far side of Avalanche Lake. So you can choose to make it a 4-mile or a 6-mile hike. The elevation gain from the loop hike up to the lake is about 750 feet, so it is a steady up, but it's not particularly difficult.
So we started this hike at 5:30 in the evening, so I'm hoping most of the crowds are out. There's still a lot of people on the trail coming out. Chances of seeing wildlife are pretty slim until we head out.
80 to 90% of this trail is canopied. It makes for very cool hiking and a beautiful hike. You can see how dense the forest is behind me and as I pan up the slope of the mountain. But we've come to an opening, so I'll pan around so you can see the view that we get as we come into this opening. Mountains are so majestic here in Glacier National Park. It's just incredible beauty every time you turn around. I had expected a few more streams like this along the side of the hill, but this is only one of 2 or 3 streams that we crossed as we were hiking to the lake. As we approached the lake, the undergrowth got pretty thick. Most of the undergrowth is berry-type bushes, so a great place for lots of bears to be. As we came around the corner, we approached the outlet of the lake, When we walked out to the lake, I couldn't believe how shallow it was. It's just incredibly beautiful and clear. And this half of the lake you could walk across. It was so shallow. Just beautiful. You can see the stark contrast between the shallow part of the lake and the deep section of the lake. In fact, the lake is so shallow that it makes for a great beach. I must have passed 200 people on the way up to the lake, and they were all hanging out on this beach, and even when I was there were probably 60 or 70 people on the beach. It's very flat beach. It's not sandy at all. It's very firm. And so walking across the lake is also very firm. You just have to watch out for the submerged rocks and logs. And like most lakes in the park, the glacial cascades feed the lake. The water's just so incredibly clear and cold. While we were taking pictures on the lake, I met a few people. We were exchanging picture taking, and a park ranger came up to us. She was pretty stern. She told us not to leave our backpacks more than 2 or 3 feet from us. She said that by us coming out and taking the pictures, the bears often come out of the woods, grab backpacks, and run. She didn't find it very amusing when we tried to joke with her, so I guess it's a pretty serious deal up here. This is our destination today. It's Hidden Lake. It's a beautiful hike through the tundra and meadow. This is our second of 3 different hikes into lakes at Glacier National Park.
We're at the trailhead for Hidden Lakes at the Logan Pass in Glacier National Park. Join us as we explore and discover all the gems on this hike in Glacier National Park.
I actually took this picture and this video at the end of the hike because the sun was finally up and glistening off of Bear Mountain. Just a beautiful view at the start of the hike. I'm panning here at the beginning of the hike, and just from me panning around, you can see how beautiful the views are going to be as we hike up the trail. This is the second of 3 hikes to various lakes in Glacier National Park. Each of the hikes is very different in the terrain and the forest that we hike through. This hike we hike through tundra and meadow. The first hike we hike through forest. The third hike will be through marshy wetlands that will be at a much lower elevation. We're on a boardwalk, the better part of 3/4 of a mile. You can see as we're hiking that we're going through meadows that have streams and seeps running through it the entire time. Consequently, the whole area is full of flowers. It's absolutely beautiful. And the boardwalk keeps us dry and the terrain from being trampled. In the beginning portion of the hike, we're completely surrounded by these flowers. It's just beautiful, all kinds of colors and color ranges. It was green, lush, and colorful for that first 3/4 of the hike as we walked along the boardwalk. Just beautiful. I stopped here in the middle of the trail, about 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile up the trail, just to do a 360 pan so you can see what it's like as we're hiking. It's quite a stunning, majestic hike as you look at all these peaks surrounding us and these lush meadows and forests around us. Just incredible views. Along with the snow melt comes a number of cascades all along the trail. Stopped and took a few pictures of the cascades and waterfalls as we were hiking along. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but there's a white speck right on the face of this cliff, and I'll zoom in on it, and it's a mountain goat just sitting there watching us as we're hiking by. I don't think I could have picked it out, but somebody pointed it out to us as we were hiking up to the saddle. I'll zoom in on it, and at the very end you can see it right in the middle of the zoom. we're approaching the saddle, and right on top of the saddle itself is a nice little pond with a few streams trickling through it. Really beautiful. Just after clearing the saddle, you get a view of Hidden Lake. You would think that Hidden Lake would be small, but it's quite a large lake. It's just in a corner of the mountains that nobody goes to, and it's right at the top. But it's a beautiful, beautiful view. I'm panning over here to the right because you can see the trail that goes from the vista point down to the lake itself. It's about a mile, mile and a half down to the lake from the vista point, and you can see the trail as it cuts through the side of the mountain and makes it down to the corner of the lake. I'm going to have to do this hike another day. We have too many little ones with us today. As we headed out, the mountain goat that had been sitting up on the side of the cliff decided to come down the mountain, so we got a chance to see it up close. I'll take some photos of it as it approaches us. It's always a thrill to see some wildlife in the national parks. Along with this mountain goat, we saw bighorn sheep, a blonde grizzly bear and a black bear, and lots of deer. Not to mention this little marmot that we saw playing off in a distance as we were hiking back to our car. This is our destination today. It's Johns Lake in Glacier National Park. This is the third of the 3 lake hikes. The terrain is very different than the other 2 hikes. This is my granddaughter Flora. She's quite the hiker. I think she could hike all of us into the ground, but we're having a tough time on this trail because it's also a horse trail. So it's a little chewed up. We just have to hike on the edges. There are some parallel trails. They're a little bit cleaner than the trail that we were on previously. These 3 different hikes in the national park have been so beautiful yet so different in their own way. It's been great to hike each one of them. Very common sight here in the park. This hike is at a lower elevation than the previous 2 hikes. The area we're hiking in is a lot more marshy and wet, but just like the other 2 hikes, it's beautiful, just a little bit different terrain. You can see by my back trail how dense the forest is. It's beautiful in here. It's really a wet forest up here in Glacier National Park. Join us as we explore and discover all the beauty on this hike into Johns Lake in Glacier National Park. We've just come across the lake, so I think we'll head down to the lake, see what we can find. You can come into this hike on several different trailheads. It's also part of several different loop hikes, so you can take your pick on which trail you decide to take, but for the most part it's a short hike, 1.5 miles in. It's a great hike. Can't really tell from here, but there's a creek right in front of us. It's just a very slow-moving creek, mostly more like a marsh than a creek, and it flows right into the lake. There you can see the lake. It's a little creek flowing in, beautiful little lake, alpine lake. It's gorgeous here. The trail circles a section of the lake, so as we circle the lake, we'll take a few more views as we pass different sections of the lake. So this is Johns Lake, and we've got a perfect reflection of these 2 peaks right here on the lake. It's just beautiful here. I hope you enjoyed all 3 of these lake hikes. They're all so beautiful and also different at the same time. Glacier National Park is an absolutely beautiful place to visit.